Okay, so what I'm going to do is show you how to make a bokeh style photograph from, well, like this, from this photograph. So hopefully by the end of the tutorial you'll be able to do something along these sort of lines. Okay, so the first thing you need is a photograph. It can be absolutely anything. I would suggest doing something that's relatively brightly coloured. And what we're going to do first of all is we're going to apply a blur filter to it. So you need to go up to Filter, Blur, and there's one called Gaussian Blur. And you want it to be blurred enough so that you can't really detect what it is anymore, but you want to be able to see the colours. So this is the sort of style I've gone for at the moment. I'm then going to just play around with the curves to enhance it, make sure it's really bright. You want a little bit of darkness in there so to give some depth. I might play with the colour balance so that I can bring out some colours that might not have been there initially. And I'm just going to play with the saturation and make sure that's really bright. Okay, so that's the first thing that I've done. Oh, I apologise, I've unlocked the image as well, so the image is unlocked, you can work on it with no problem. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new layer, and I'm going to go to my brush. Now this part's quite difficult, so I'm going to take my time with this for you. You need to select a brush that has no sort of blur on the edge, so it's a nice hard brush. Okay, just show you, so it's a nice hard brush, like so. When you've chosen the brush, you need to make sure the hardness is 100%. You can go for any size at the moment that you fancy. And I'm going to go to Brush Settings, which is the little folder next to where the size is. On this, you need to tick Shape Dynamics and Scattering. And when you click on Scattering, you need to make sure that Scatter is at 1000% and the count is 1. Okay, so that's ticking Shape, Dynamics and Scattering, making sure Scatter is at 1000% and the count is 1. When you do that, you can then just draw from whatever corner you fancy to the other corner, and it will scatter dots there for you. We're then going to apply the blur filter again, so blur. And we don't want to make it too blurred, so I'm probably going to go for about 5 to start. Then I'm going to decrease the opacity to make it slightly translucent, and I'm going to go for about 50%. Okay, and the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the layers and I'm going to press overlay so that the colours are blended in with it. And basically that's it. You then just repeat by adding a new layer, changing the size of the brush possibly. Hopefully it remembers the filter. Applying it, blurring it using filter blur. Might blur mine slightly more this time. Changing the opacity to 50% and overlaying it so the colours go through. And you just continue to do that until you're happy with this sort of style and effect. So this is one example. This is one that I did earlier. Okay, so I just did a lot more of the smaller dots, the lighter dots to make it white. And that is the end of the tutorial. Thanks for watching.